Hi guys. Well, we're going to get going because it is now 2:35, so I think we're given enough time for everyone to get in, and I guess we'll have a few people who are a little bit late that will pop in throughout the session. But once again, I just want to do a little bit of a welcome and thank you all for coming along. And this is going to be recorded, so you will be able to watch this back if you've got any questions or we've said anything. I personally find that I like to sort of listen back to content a few times just to fully get myself immersed and fully understand, I guess, content and get an understanding of things. So, but anyway, welcome to our event on Profit First, which is a continuation of last week's event where we talked about profit first, and then also some real sort of key questions after our event with Mike McAllowitz, who is the author of Profit First. You guys have probably heard of the book. For those that are out there, you might have also heard of Profit First for Tradies, which is one of our PFPs that we know, Profit First Professional, Katie Grismell Marshall. But yeah, we're two awesome books that basically helps business owners create businesses with profit really, permanent profit. And what we're here today is to sort of really talk about how you can implement Profit First in your business. And in today's agenda, we're going through a few different key questions that we've identified that we think you guys need to know. And then we'll also finish up about how we can help you as PFPs, Profit First professionals, in actually getting you involved in Profit First and actually implementing it in your business. So for those who don't know me, my name is Nathan Rigney. I also commonly refer to myself as the Profit Generator. It's a nice little sort of thing that I call myself, but so it's a bit weird sort of saying it at the same time. And I own an accounting practice. I've been an accountant for more than 20 years, and I'm a CPA, and I'm a strong believer in Profit First. And the reason I am a believer in that is because I've seen so many business owners that have struggled to make a profit. And even when we talk about making a profit, even just not having, say, for example, debt in their business. So yeah, so that's myself. What we're also going to do is I might just let Craig, who's on the call today as well, he's our special guest. He's going to quickly introduce himself and say hello and tell us all about himself.
Yeah, g'day everybody. Craig Minter. I'm a fellow Profit First professional, similar to Nathan. I've been a Profit First professional for coming up on 6 years now, and I'm also a Profit First master for about half of that time. And basically, my focus within the Profit First world is very much around cash flow forecasting. I've basically created the world's first Profit First specific cash flow forecasting platform. And I've developed that and been using it with clients, and also now we're rolling out with other awesome Profit First professionals to get that into people's hands and have a bigger impact with Profit First. So that's me in a nutshell.
Cool. Thanks, mate, for letting us know all about yourself there. So, okay, so I'm just going to just jump straight into the questions we had based on the email we sent out, the agenda. We answered quite a few questions last week, and you guys probably on the follow-up of the dinner with Mike had some follow-up questions that you may have had. So we're going to do a deeper dive into those. So our first question on our agenda is, and I'm looking over here to the side of my other screen, is TAPS. How can I determine my ideal profit percentage? And so what we want to do is uncover the secrets of setting a profit percentage that aligns perfectly with your business goals. So I think Craig and I will probably have a few goes at here and there of some of these questions, but I'll dive straight into the answer to this one. TAPS. Well, that's an interesting starting point. So TAPS, what is TAPS? Well, target allocation percentages. So I guess when you start Profit First, what we'll do is we'll look at your current position. So we call them current allocation percentages, also known as CAPs. And I guess what we want to do is we want to see where you're at today. So out of, say, for example, taxes, owner's pay, profit, and OPEX, so operational expenses of the business, we want to see percentage of where the cash comes in, where the cash is going out as percentage, right? And we look at those caps, and it gives us an idea, a snapshot of where you are today. And ideally for each business, depending on the size of the business, you're going to have some different allocation percentages. So a smaller business will probably typically pay as a percentage more to the owner than a larger business that probably won't pay the owner as much because they're not as involved one-to-one in the business. But on that basis, what will happen there is on that basis of what will happen there is there's different percentages there, but where we want to go to, right? So it's target allocation percentages. So when we say a target, we're not going to get there overnight. So if we said that, hey, for example, we want to get to a point where as a small business owner, you're paying 50% to yourself as owner's compensation, but yet you're only maybe paying yourself only 20% currently, to go from 20% to 50% is going to be really quite difficult. It's kind of like, and I like using analogies for this. So a simple, great analogy is, let's say, for example, you wanted to lose weight, and I always come back to weight and also sort of fitness and diet, because one of my passions is actually fitness and staying fit. So that's why I also often have analogies in that space. But if, say, for example, you wanted to lose, let's say, for example, you're at 25% body fat and you want to get to 20% body fat, right? To get from 25% to 20%, you're just not going to do that overnight. And it's the same with your business. If you want to get from, say, 20% of whatever revenue you're collecting in the business going to you, or going from 20% to 50%, you're not going to be able to do that overnight. So I think what we say is, what really the target allocation percentages are something we're going to get to over time. So it might take a year, it might take up to 2 years to get there, but that's the target. We know we want to get to, but we've got to get there in slow increments. So what we typically do is we look at the percentages and we change them gradually over time. So yeah, anything there to add, Craig, that you think I might have missed?
From what I caught, no. One thing I'll just add, apologies if you covered off on that. It's, the book talks about, some target percentages and the like, but with that incremental approach that Nathan was referring to there, sometimes people may not ever get to or need to get to those certain percentages to achieve whatever their personal goal is and their business goals are as well. So again, as with any of those things, as you start the journey and you're on the process, quite often things will change and be like, oh, we actually don't need or we don't want to do that. So it's not like I have to do that. So again, just remember, it's always a guide and a framework to start with. And again, there's plenty of businesses that, that those percentages do fit, the majority, the 80-20 kind of rule and those sorts of things. So we've got some extremely big profitable businesses doing what the owners achieve by not getting as high owners pay, as high profit, or those sorts of things as well. Every business is unique, which touches on some of the, I think, following questions as well that Nathan outlined in the agenda as well, is that every business is different. So just be mindful of that. Don't feel the pressure of, I've got to hit those numbers, because that's not helpful sometimes to think, I have to do that.
Yeah. I'm gonna continue over to you there, Craig, because I've got a really good question. I'll let you jump in on it first. What challenges might I face during the transition to profit first, navigating the path to financial transformation by addressing common challenges head on? So what challenges?
I'll continue on, I guess, that train of thought is sometimes that initial, this is what I should be doing, and this is how, again, just bringing that back into what's going to work for you as an individual, and what does your business need, and what do you need out of the business? Because, I often think of this challenging idea as kind of what we talk about, the journey of a transformation that people go through in any decision usually you make in life. But for something like implementing profit first, it's, the initial excitement, let's get it implemented. We're on a high. Yeah, we're going to be more profitable. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. But then what inevitably happens, and I'll try and draw it back to the front here, on that down, what happens then once you've hit the high of the excitement, then there's doing the assessment. There's quite often the gap between, well, where am I now? And then where do I want to get to kind of idea. And so that's how you get in an overwhelmed state, just because of the information that might be a bit different to what you thought, and a bit of unexpected sort of things happen. So that's quite often a challenge that people face. And what I sort of say to that is, then you kind of hit the bottom point, which is usually, hey, we're putting a whole lot of effort in, but we're not necessarily seeing the rewards of that. And so what I say, why profit first is great, is because as we're going through that process, being able to start to put your money into a profit bank account, we start to actually see that reward at that point. So a lot of other things in systems and processes, it takes a lot longer time to actually see results. But with Profit First, we can put money into a profit account. We start to see that shortening, and so that bottom picture. Then we start to see the results. They get amplified. We get the snowball effect of that, and so that's probably one of the things that gets that initial sometimes overwhelmed, depending on where that is. And probably the second one I'll just touch upon is one of the biggest challenges I find is where people start, in as much as where are they in their business cash flow cycle when they start. I always say the best time is to plant the money tree is 30 years ago. The next best time is now. So I'd never change the start point, but depending upon what cycle we might be in a tax cycle, a bash cycle, year-end tax, or those sorts of things, or a seasonal cycle, that may have certain cash flow challenges that haze that as to where do we start, how do we start. But again, that comes back to what Nathan was talking about before. It's walk before we run kind of idea, being able to do that.
That's some really good points there, Craig. Thanks for that. I think, definitely the anxiety of dealing with what's going on, in your business, and then having to actually face it. I think that's probably the hardest part. And what I think the biggest challenge that I see is that going back to what which isn't working, it's not working, but subconsciously you're just going, I'm just going to ignore it and just go back to what I know. And being uncomfortable is sometimes comfortable. Like, I know that sounds quite odd that would be the case. So that was some really good advice there. I sort of also said as well, just also changing your mindset about how you're going to do things and just trusting the system that it's going to work. Our third question was, can Profit First be customized to fit my specific business needs? Tailor Profit First to your unique business requirements for maximum impact. So can it be customized to fit your business needs? Well, I guess what I would start with is, what are the primary accounts in setting up Profit First? And, the primary accounts we have is what you probably already have, which is a revenue account. And hopefully everyone's got one of those, because otherwise I don't know how you're collecting your cash from all your sales or whatever it might be. I don't think anyone's really dealing with cash these days per se. But then also, and I'm pretty sure they don't have like a safe or hopefully they don't have cardboard boxes, like shoe boxes, filling all their cash with that. But you'd have your revenue account. You want to have a GST account, a profit account, a tax, and OPEX. I'm making sure I got all of those right. I got them all. Didn't forget any. Craig's shaking his head at me going, that's all good. But yeah, I mean, like, I guess what I would say, customizing your where you are and in your business. Every business is different, is what I would probably say. So there's no one fits all scenario. But depending on your business, like if you, for example, are in the business of, it could be that you sell a particular, like you're a retailer, right? So you're going to have stock. So you might have another bank account to manage, or cash there for future purchases of stock. So you always got that stock there. You could also have, say, for example, if you want to dig deeper into the accounts and really want to split money aside for particular expenses, like for example, staff payroll or marketing expenses. You might go, hey, 5% of my revenue that we collect, our real revenue, goes towards marketing. There might be 5% that you want to put aside in a bank account, which means that then you're clearly sort of setting a target on how much you want to spend on marketing, and really sort of capping how much that is. It could also be, if, say, for example, you're a business that collects money in advance, so like deposits. And there's a lot of businesses out there where they get paid, 6 months in advance for, a particular set of work. So, you don't want all that cash going into your account and then splitting it all out, and then living on that, but then you've maybe used that in 3 months and you still got to use particularly, part of that cash over the remaining 3 months. So what you might do is, to deal with deposits, and this is just an advanced technique, is put that cash in a separate account, and then have like a system whereby we can work out how much we're going to release month by month. So once you've earned it is when you release it to your main revenue account. But there's more than just, I guess, the primary accounts that we typically mention. And that's when we get into advanced techniques. And I guess that's where, you know, a PFP like myself or Craig actually then guides you about that process so that you can then therefore, you know, stay profitable. Anything there you want to sort of add, Craig? No, he's shaking his head.
No, I think you've covered that off. But yeah, at the end of the day, profit first can be sliced and diced at the end of the day, and it's all very much a tailored approach. And again, if I had $1 for every time I said I do profit first, but I kind of do it my own way, and it's like, yeah, everybody does. Every client that we work with does it slightly differently.
Our fourth part of the agenda was what resources and tools are available to support me in implementing profit first. So let's just explore what those resources are. There's two parts to this, and I'm going to mention first off, I've been developing a course called the Profit Generator course, which is a course that I put together, which is really the foundations of Profit First. And I would suggest that if you really want to get immersed and really understand Profit First, like you really want to know the foundations and I guess really the core ideas behind Profit First. And I would suggest that the course that I've got there will help you understand the basics of Profit First. So that's one thing that you can do. The course I've got there, you know, I run you through some videos that are really quite short, gets to the point of what you need to know. And then also I follow it up with some multiple choice questions so then you can test your knowledge. Craig's got a platform that he uses with his clients, and I'll let him describe it because he's going to do a much better job than what I would.
Oh, come on, Nathan, you've started using it. You could manage that as well. But I'll run through it. So it's again, as I touched upon my introduction there, my focus has been ever since I started with Profit First. I cast the book, and you know the foundations that Nathan's talking to and referring to is very much what I cast as sort of Profit First 1.0. It's the base level. It solves so many challenges that businesses have in managing the finances and, you know, making sustainable businesses. But when people implement it, the bank accounts help people in the here and now, and they get that sense where their shoulders drop from being up here to down here. And it's like, okay, I'm feeling my safety. I'm feeling secure. It's usually the first thing. Then I'm making some profit. I'm making some money. That's great. But then we always get the what if questions. What if this happens? When can I? How do I go about? All these questions that, you know, need an extra layer of work. How much money will I have a bank account if I go and do this based upon the money I'm expecting to come in? And that's basically where, throughout my process, to be able to answer those questions, we used to delve into countless spreadsheets and wonderful calculations that we would try to build out to show people what that story was like. And so basically off the back of that, sort of went, let's make something far more simple than that. And basically where it landed was to create a Profit First specific cash flow forecasting platform that is designed to answer those questions. At the end of the day, it was designed to answer the one simple question of what will any Profit First bank account be at any given point in the future based upon somebody's rollout plan that Nathan was talking about, going from here to here, aligned with, well, what money are we expecting to come in? What money is expected to come out? We can then show what that picture is. And so that's basically what the platform is, what it aims to achieve, and basically help with those questions, turn all those what ifs into kind of what will happen. And so, yeah, it's a tool that I use, and I personally could not do Profit First without it anymore. It's impossible for me. If someone said you can't use that, I would struggle to implement Profit First.
Yeah, what I would probably add to that with your platform there, Craig, is that your platform, I mean, gives certainty. And the one thing that I think we want in business owners is we want to know what's around the corner, right? And I guess the theory of accounting is reporting on what's already happened in the past. And you know, what's happened in the past can give us a little bit of an idea of what's going to happen, but then you need to dig a bit deeper to sort of really work out what's going to happen in the future. So then what we start doing is putting in what if scenarios. And this is what, the software, is allowing you to do is to sort of work out, well, what if I did this or that, or, if I was to change, say for example, the percentage of how much I charge, if I had a 1% increase on my sales, what does that look like? And it gives you a bit of an idea to sort of, I guess, power to sort of understand what you can do in your business and what it could look like. But even like, and I think the best, case scenario that I've heard is that knowing there's a problem coming up in the business, and, Craig's definitely seen that with one of his clients, and then going, well, instead of the problem landing on my footstep, and then having to deal with it and not having any time to prepare, you've had time to prepare and actually, put good actions in place to deal with the problems that are going to be happening in the future. So I think that's ideal. And that's one thing that, in my profit first coaching and consulting and sort of getting my clients on profit first is something that I strongly believe in, strongly use. And I also use it in my own business. And as Craig said, I wouldn't do it without it. Look, I mean, spreadsheets are great. And look, I do have, like, on my profit first course, spreadsheets, but that's for those who are starting out, just want to know the basics of the foundations. And the spreadsheets are fantastic. They're locked up. They're designed by professionals. But, the platform that Craig has is going the next step. And that's what, as profit first professionals, that's what we're doing. We're going the next step to make sure we're giving you the right consulting and coaching to actually implement profit first and actually be successful at it. So that leads me to my next question, which is, in what ways does profit first encourage a mindset shift towards financial success? So I guess for me, I like bringing back to, and I've said this a million times and I 100% believe in it, it's what I call the 20-80 rule, right? So I always say that in any successful business, it's 20% skill set. So when I say skill set, I mean that's your trade. If you're a builder, you can knock up a house, it's the best house in the neighborhood. And 80% psychology. And when I talk about psychology, it's what's up here, guys. It's about, the reason profit first works is because it's not bank accounts. It's about actually implementing it. It's about helping you guys control your behavior and controlling where the cash goes. So, and I guess the problem we have is that when we sort of have a look at, what cash comes in, if we just got all the cash in one account, we're quite tempted to just spend the money here and there, do whatever. There's no real sort of thought about how much we're going to spend. And even though we have really good accounting software, like say, for example, Xero or other programs that are out there like MYB or whatever else you might use, what typically happens is that you don't use it. But what you do is you look at your phone, all right, and you look at the banking app and you determine how much cash is in there. So I guess what we're doing is that we're putting up, I guess, systems so that we can control your cash, but also thinking about how you think, so that then you can get into a new system, a new rhythm, so that you can manage your cash better. And what happens on the other side is that you start having, and probably leading into my next question, which is, what are the key indicators of, a business thriving under profit first? And those key indicators are that, the first time in your life of you being a business owner, you actually have profit. And when we talk about profit, not an accounting profit, because remember, accounting profit is a theory that, was made up thousands of years ago by some guy went, hey, but like, and I've done it before as an accountant, where I hand over to a business owner, yeah, you got a profit, and the tax on that is, and they go, but where's the profit? Well, it's gone because you spent it. Sorry. Like, it is what it is. It's just what it is. But, having profit in your business where it's actual cash profit, and that's really, really strong. You also getting a reward back for what you're doing in your business and having that cash and being able to go to the family and going, hey, all that time and risk I sacrificed to be a business owner, here's some actual cash for us to do whatever we want. If we want to go out, it could be when you start profit first, it's just going out for dinner. But then later on, it could be like a holiday to Disneyland. But, it's that, but it's also, I would say, paying, like, the other benefits are paying yourself a market salary. And, I would ask you guys who are watching, ask yourself, if I was to go and pay myself like I was not related to the business, just like any other employee. For everything I do, am I paying myself a market salary? And unfortunately, like, and I do a lot of accounts. I see a lot of people what they're earning, and they're not paying themselves a market salary. Like, they went out and replaced themselves, they would probably pay themselves another 50%, but yet, you know, they still underpay themselves. So, other key indicators like no debts, being able to get a good night's sleep because you're not worrying about the business and having how you got to go pay, you know, you got this creditor, that creditor, or the ATOs. The ATO going to call. What are they going to do? They're going to send me to jail. They're going to take away my home. They're going to garnish my account, which is something they like doing, by the way. They love garnishing accounts and just taking money out. It does happen. And yeah, and then paying bills on time. So I think if I was to go back to those two questions I've combined on mindset shift, what are the financial successes, and then key indicators, I dare say Craig's probably got nothing else to add, but he's probably got something. I know he's always got something good to add.
I've always got a slight twist. We know that. I'm always looking at the future thing. And I think on that, it is, again, another little shift. And I touched upon this on our last call, I think, last week, is at the end of the day, the indicator and the mindset shift is when I talk about brain care. It's at the end of the day, it's what I touched upon even just earlier here, the shoulders going from up there to down there. For me, that's an indicator that profit's working, because all of a sudden there's more clarity. There's less brain fog. You know, people understand what numbers are happening in the business. It's the little guy's birthday today, and he's doing a monster Lego build out there in a second. Just give me a second, champ. And, you know, it's an example of being able to be very clear on your numbers and know at a quick glance what's happening. And it's that part of, you know, if we've got revenue and we're having a consistent allocation of our revenue, the revenue rhythm, we know that if that revenue rhythm is up or down, that one of three things is happening in the business. It's basically, you know, is the activity up or down? Or is it that we have or haven't raised the invoices? Or is it that we haven't collected on our invoices? I know from that revenue bank account alone that one of those three things is actually happening in the business. So, yeah, the brain care part of it for me is the main thing. And good to see we've got a bit of light entertainment happening into today's session as well. Leave it with me. I'll go find a piece of Lego for him.
And happy birthday, by the way. But yeah, no, look, brain care is definitely a massive good one that you suggest there, and it's true. And even like the way how you do slouch, and you know, maybe just if you can think about the next few days when you're having a down moment and how your posture is, and you know, and what you find is, yeah, like when you are down, your voice is low and you do tend to sit over. But like when, you know, and there's ways of changing that, but like, and not that we're here for that, but yeah, it's so true. I'm going to jump over. We're going to go to, I guess, a few questions. I'm going to leave that to little bit later. But before we get to that, I just wanted to, we talked a little bit about our profit first coaching and consulting with a PFP. So being a profit first professional. So I want to quickly go over that because we do have a couple of packages that I do want to share with you guys. And I'm going to quickly run through what that looks like. So we've got our first package, and it's what we call the Let's Go Profit First setup. So this is purely designed for a business owner that wants to get profit first going, hasn't done anything to get profit first in your business. And because we've got Christmas coming up, it is a 4-month engagement, but typically we normally do this over 3 months. And what happens is you've got just not myself, but you also got Craig, who's going to be involved in helping you. So you've got 2 professionals helping you actually develop and get into the profit first mindset, and then also actually implementing into your business so that you can get permanent profit in your business. What we do is we do 6 weekly sessions. So every week, go on a session, you get myself and Craig going through the profit first system. So we're going to set everything up, guide you through from everything from like setting up your bank accounts to even just understanding what your business is at currently. So doing an instant assessment, and then on top of that, you know, looking at sort of what your sales look like. You know, do you need to improve on what you're selling the sales price? Is it maybe, like I said before, like a small increase in percentage? So what's that going to look like? Looking at your expenses, but then a whole lot of questions, and there's a lot of hand holding in it, but absolutely worth it. And then after we sort of get through that 6 weeks, we also, are there to actually throughout the whole period there to sort of, if you've got any questions, you can email them through, and then we can get to those questions and reply back to you. Or we've also got in that fortnightly, what I call Profit First sessions hosted by myself. And, I'll just go through for the hour. Anyone can jump in who's on the program, and I'll just answer whatever questions you've got for that week. So ongoing from the 6 weeks, and even during the 6 weeks, there's additional help one-on-one to get through any questions you might have. You also get access to the Profit Generator Profit First online course, and then also access to the Profit First Profit platform. And there's that there. So it's a special sign up before the end of November. So normally what we would charge for this, for basically the 3-month engagement, or 4 months because of Christmas, is we would normally charge 5,550 plus GST. But before, if you sign up before the end of November, we're going to discount that back to 4,950 plus GST. And so once again, you get quite a few sessions there. So quite a bit involved in there. We're going to email this through so you guys can all see what it is and grasp what it is. So, and I mean, we've had quite a bit of success in clients who've jumped on board, and I understand that it is a massive ask to ask you to sort of, put that money forward. And the way I would say to you is, it's not an expense in your business, it's actually an investment in your business. And the key thing is that, and I think this comes back to mindset, understanding that your business it's actually an asset. So, and that's what you should be, every business owner should be, going towards is that if you're in business, it should be something that you can sell later on. So the question you want to ask yourself is, if you wanted to sell your business, say in 6 months' time, are you going to, if it's selling and it's looking a bit sort of ragged and needs a little bit of a cleanup and it's in a bit of a mess, are you going to be able to sell it for the same price as the business next door to you that's, got really good systems, it's got profit, and, it runs really smoothly, got, really low expenses, and it makes profit? So that's where I guess that investment comes in, because you want to get to that point where if your business is like the first one I described, you're not going to be able to sell it for much. So go back to that mindset of it's an investment in your business, and helping you to get to the point where you've got a business that you can, one day sell. But even not even thinking like that, it could even be just that you got a business that you enjoy being at, you don't have sleepless nights and having those sort of issues. So that's that one. And we do have, for those who have already implemented Profit First, we do have what we call our Keep Going. It's our Road to Permanent Profit, which is basically kind of the same, but we're not going to spend those first 6 weeks hand holding and going through setting up, because you would have already set up, but you'd get one-to-one coaching with myself, and then we get to talk about your Profit First journey, and then any general business related matters. And then, same deal. So you still get access to Craig's platform, which is the Profit First platform, and then also the course that I've got, the online course, the Profit Generator course, and then even seeing about jump in to our online Zoom sessions where we can, ask any questions, and then also, that email support with and coming back to you whatever questions you have in your business. So yeah, I think that's I got everything there. Craig, you got anything else you want to add to, I guess, the course that we've got there?
Don't think so. As you say, I'm along for the ride, and basically, happy to help out and support Nathan in what he's doing. Again, very much with the slant from ramping up that the forecasting side of stuff, and really getting that certainty that Nathan talked about, the visibility over the decision making, and helping people make more intentional decisions with the finances, and using those numbers and some of those projections and those sorts of things. So yes, I'm here to help very much on that side of things. Again, I'll like I've done on this call, I'll help with other aspects as well, and give insights from my years of experience doing this. but there'll always be that angle of, okay, cool, how does that help us and what does that look like into the future? And very much what Nathan's talking about there, everything, any dollars that goes out of the business for me is an investment in some form. And that's one of the first mindset shifts. And, as profit first professionals, we know that anybody that invests anything in us or to the software or anything like that, it needs to get a return on investment. It's got that spend is going to sit in the operating expenses. It has to get a return on investment. And then we know that. So we make sure that happens because we know that people need to get that return. And I know from the software side of things that, again, the speed to clarity is, pays itself over and over and over again.
Yeah. All right. So we've had a few questions that have been popping up throughout today's session. I see there's a few down in the chat box. So Jacinta is going to yell them out or let them know what questions we have. And then Craig and myself will do our best to answer the questions you guys have.
They're actually just the questions that you've gone through so far. I was just reiterating them,
okay.
So then everyone was kept up to date.
That's good. Okay, so if anyone does have any other questions, please pop in the chat box and we're happy to answer those questions there. Otherwise, I think I've gone through kind of everything there. So I think just coming back to the course, it's really, implementing Profit First is going to help change, I guess, a lot of things in your business, and certainly changed a lot in my business, even from an accountant's point of view. Probably one thing I do want to ask you guys, we did say last week in our last call, and for those who were here, we talked about setting up or talking about the lowest bar. And we said that the hardest thing for any person is actually making a massive change. And we said that setting the lowest bar basically meant that, doing something simple and the smallest thing possible to actually make change. So an example of that was, in Profit First terms, was to go up and set up a Profit First account. So just in the chat box, who's set up a Profit First account to bring in some of their profits there? And Alice start allocating just 1% every, like we did suggest that 1% of every couple of weeks, just putting 1% of whatever you've collected in revenue to a profit account. And we've got a few people said yes, they have. It's good. So, okay, so let's talk about the mindset behind setting the lowest bar for those who haven't heard or haven't seen it when they were here last week. So, I guess that when we had the dinner with Mike talked about setting the lowest bar, and he used it in the terms of health and fitness. So he said for someone who was, let's say, for example, unfit and hadn't done any exercise for quite some time, the word exercise is actually quite daunting. Just as much as me saying to you, hey, go and set up a whole lot of bank accounts, it must be quite daunting, and just going, the anxiety coming in, going, it sounds like a lot of effort. But, and same with someone who's, wants to get into exercise. But when we started changing, I guess, the theory of what exercise is, and just changing it by going, well, hey, exercise can be just doing something as simple as, a small routine. A small routine could be that when you're watching TV and the ads are on, that you go for a walk, up and down the stairs in your house. Right? It's just changing the routine. And then, once you sort of got into that routine, it was, you'd set a new pattern. And then from there, you would go, well, hey, maybe when I'm watching TV, the next step would be that, hey, what I would do is when, the ads are on, I'll go and do my walk down the stairs. But it could also be that, after the TV show's done, I'm going to go for a walk outside for 5 minutes and then come back in before I watch the next TV show. And it was just really just changing, I guess, and setting the lowest bar was about just changing things really incrementally and really slowly. And so on that note, setting the lowest bar and Profit First was just as simple as, if you guys are sort of questioning or going, I don't know if this is a really good idea, just starting really simply by just going to your bank and saying, well, hey, I just want an account that I'm going to call profit, and then I'm going to park 1% of my revenue into a bank account every fortnight, and then just seeing what that is. That could be that If it's only, say for example, 1% of $1,000, if that's what you had come in, it'd be $10. Not a big deal to see $10 go, right? But if you do that progressively over time, that amount of money is going to grow and increase, and then you're going to see, well, hey, these are the changes of what's happening. You got that extra cash. So starting at the lowest bar is a good way to sort of get into profit first if you want to get into it, but you're just a little bit sort of daunted by the whole idea of making a change. Yeah, so that's lowest bar. Anything else there, Jacinta, as far as questions go? No, cool. All right, guys. Well, I think I'm going to finish it up for today. Thanks for everyone for attending. So just to go back over the packages there, we've got 2 packages there. The Let's Go Profit First Setup, which will take you right through the system of setting up Profit First in your business with myself and Craig as your Profit First professionals, and Keep Going, just for those who want to get into the advanced or the ongoing process of ongoing coaching. And yeah, and that's everything. So if you're interested in that, we're actually going to send an email there. We'd love to hear from you and talk about whether you're interested in actually getting that program in place. And yeah, if there's any questions in the meantime, you can contact myself, Nathan at NGR Accounting. We will send an email there with our details so you can get in touch. Okay, well, everyone, thank you so much for attending. Craig, I just want to also thank you for getting on the call once again and being our special guest. And I'm not sure if he's still there or if he's gone. He's got his little 5-year-old's birthday party there. He's waving his hands probably. So yeah, all right, everyone, have a good afternoon, and we'll speak to you all soon.